is going on, everybody? Welcome to Tavern Talk. My name is Philip, and this week we are going to count down my top 10 most anticipated movies for the rest of 2022. We've had a very full, interesting year. Maybe not so full. I'm stuffed. But definitely an interesting year. We're still kind of coming out of the post-pandemic era and seeing what the cinematic landscape is going to be like, the theatrical landscape, I should say, what it's going to be like. And so there's a lot of, moving and shaking going on right now. It feels like a lot of trying to figure out where we are with what is going to make it to the big screen, make it on the big screen. But that said, as shaky kind of as the first half of 2022 has felt, it seems like we're going to end strong here. There's a lot to look forward to. So I don't want to waste too much time talking about what has come, what all is coming out as far as things that aren't, my most anticipated. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into my top 10. And at number 10 is a movie called Babylon. It is the latest from Damien Chazelle. It's his first movie since First Man. And this is this is an old Hollywood tale. It's set in Hollywood. During the transition from silent films to the talkies, it's focusing on like a whole mixture of characters, and the cast is just kind of out of this world. You've got Olivia Wilde, you've got Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Samara Weaving, Tobey Maguire, Gene Smart, Eric Roberts, Catherine Waterston. Just a pretty just insane cast of characters, a crazy ensemble, and I like I said, it seems like it's going to be kind of a collection of stories, if you will. But Hollywood loves Hollywood, and so I'm sure if this does make the end of the year awards race release date, it will get a lot of awards attention. But after Whiplash, after La La Land, and after revisiting First Man several times, Damien Chazelle is absolutely one of the best filmmakers, the best young filmmakers out there working. And so I'm just automatically in the bag for whatever he's doing. And the fact that he gets to do this big throwback of a Hollywood production that is also kind of a behind the scenes thing with an ensemble of, legitimate movie stars. I can't wait to see this. Yeah! Okay, moving on to number 9. Here's a little movie you might have heard of that is finally coming out this year. It is Avatar: The Way of the Water. Obviously, this is the sequel to James Cameron's 2009 colossal hit. Again, this is coming, 13 years after the original. Yes, that means kids who were born the year the original Avatar came out are teenagers this year and may have no idea. I don't feel like that's going to stop Mr. James Cameron from producing another just out-and-out blockbuster. It feels impossible to tell if this will rise to the ranks of something like T2 or Titanic or even the first Avatar. But if we've learned nothing, it's to never doubt the power of James Cameron. So I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't include this on a most anticipated list because I was 22 years old when that first movie came out. I went to see it opening night. I went back to see it in IMAX. I was totally enraptured with it. I remember getting the Blu-ray when Blu-ray was new and just like the greatest thing ever, and watching it multiple times at home. So I was definitely in the bag for this. I always thought that something underwater as well, like just visually. I know we've had Aquaman in the years since, but that didn't necessarily scratch the itch. But I feel like if anyone can kind of break that and like really explore the visual wonder and just kind of the majesty of the possibilities with a story told completely in that environment, would obviously be James Cameron. Also, there is obviously cast returning here: Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, but you have people like Kate Winslet, Michelle Yeoh, Jermaine Clement, and then of course Stephen Lang and Giovanni Ribisi are returning as well. But the old cast and the new cast that is being brought in. Will be interested to see what Cameron does with that. I have no idea. I don't know if anyone does necessarily what he's going to do story-wise here, how this is going to set up the supposed 3, 4, and 5 that are set to come out at some point. But I just, even though I don't know a lot about it, we've seen one teaser trailer at this point. It would seem foolish not to be excited for a new James Cameron movie. So we're, I'm going to go ahead and put that in there at number 9, Avatar: The Way of the Water. Okay, coming in at number 8, maybe one of the movies I've been anticipating for the longest amount of time. It is the new film from Andrew Dominik. It is Blonde. It is an adaptation of the novel about Marilyn Monroe by Joyce Carol Oates, and it also has an all-star cast, much like Babylon, much like that other old Hollywood tale. This is another kind of movie or story about the inner life of Marilyn Monroe. Ana de Armas from No Time to Die from Knives Out is portraying Monroe, but you also have Bobby Cannavale, Adrian Brody, Scoot McNairy, Sarah Paxton, Hobie Huss, and Julianne Nicholson. Also star in a variety of who's who of Hollywood stars and behind-the-scenes people from those days. But really what makes me, there has been a lot of hubbub, if you will, around this movie, getting that NC-17 rating, it going straight to Netflix, it being nearly 3 hours long, and sure, a lot of that can be would be considered detractors for a lot of people, but the reason I'm so excited to see what this is and how this turns out is purely because of Dominik. He's only directed the 2 features that I'm aware of, The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford and Killing Them Softly, both starring Brad Pitt, and The Assassination of Jesse James just was one of those kind of life-changing movies. Made you realize, once again, maybe it just hit me at the right age, but kind of the power of the movies and everything like that. It's gorgeous. It really got to the inner psyche of that titular character, and so I don't know why he wouldn't be able to do that again here with such a fascinating figure like Marilyn Monroe. And so I'm just very eager to see, especially after being delayed multiple times, all the stories around it and everything. I'm just ready to see what Dominik has actually put together and is delivering for audiences. And I just can't imagine a world where it's not, if not, a landmark masterpiece, at least completely fascinating and enrapturing. So yeah, number 8 is Blonde. Okay, at number 7, we have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Gonna be honest, I enjoyed Black Panther. I enjoy the films of Ryan Coogler in general. I think he, like Damien Chazelle, is one of the best young directors working today. And I think just the special effects in that first film really held it back. Obviously the storytelling and Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman's portrayal of the protagonist and the antagonist were, beyond a lot of what Marvel has produced, especially as of late. And Wakanda Forever obviously has the cross to bear of moving forward without having Chadwick Boseman, without having Black Panther, the character this movie is named after, to carry on with. And so there's a lot of, how are they going to do this? A lot of mystery around what direction they will go with this. I just honestly hope that they do it respectfully, whatever route they do choose to take. But I'd be lying if I, while being a little pessimistic, a little unsure of where to even go with this, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't blown away by the trailer that Coogler premiered at Comic-Con. It looks gorgeous visually, which is saying something, because after those effects that the first film produced, especially in the third act of that movie and the big finale fight and everything, it was very shaky. But this trailer looks gorgeous. It hits you right in the feels emotionally where you would expect it to, without feeling like it's taking advantage of these real life events that are legitimately tragic. And so I'm still, Phase 4 has been rough for the MCU. I don't think there's anyone, even mega fans, who wouldn't cop to the fact that there has been a little less momentum, that the steam is kind of wearing off a little bit, that we're, that Endgame and that whole Infinity Saga was such an accomplishment that it was going to be difficult for anyone, even Kevin Feige, to kind of keep that going at the pace and at the intensity that that they had been for leading up to those finales of Infinity War and Endgame. We're coming to the end of Phase 4 now, and while it has been a little touch and go, a little all over the place, if there's a note to end it on that might be both poignant and meaningful and both land with the most optimistic eye towards the future, Wakanda Forever definitely feels like the way to do that. Coogler, again, wrote the screenplay with Joe Robert Cole, and Letitia Wright is returning. Lupita Nyong'o is returning. Denai Guerrera is returning. Winston Duke, and of course Angela Bassett. And then we also have Tenoch Huerta, who will appear as Namor, the Submariner, in this film. So a lot of unknowns, but very much looking forward to what Wakanda Forever might have in store for audiences. So yes, at number 7, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Okay, on to number 6. This is probably the movie on my list that I know the least about, but that I am also just kind of going in hoping for the best as far as confidence in putting it this high. It is the latest from director Todd Field. It is called Tar. It stars Cate Blanchett and Mark Strong. This is Field's first film since 2006. He made In the Bedroom in 2001 and Little Children in 2006. Has not made a feature since. He has worked in the world of shorts and television somewhat a little bit, but this is his first feature in many, many years. And so the first teaser is kind of what hooked me for this. I have seen Field's films. They're very personal, they're very intense typically. And so just that knowledge combined with what the trailer sold here was kind of just a no-brainer in a lot of ways. I don't know, a whole lot of what is going to be going on here, because this is a film that is kind of set in this world of classical music, and Cate Blanchett's character is at the center of it. She's one of the greatest living composers, conductors, and is the first ever female chief conductor of a major German orchestra. So this isn't necessarily like a world I'm very familiar with or anything like that, but the visual sense that the trailer gives off is pretty astonishing, and just knowing and being slightly familiar with Field's work in the past, and the fact that he only seems to make a feature film when he is fully committed to the story he's going to be telling, should make this worthy of seeking out. And so I definitely want to do that. This is another one of those movies, that it will definitely release this year. It will be in that awards race, one of those contenders. When exactly it will open for the general public to see and access it more readily is kind of uncertain. It's premiering at a lot of the fall festivals on that circuit, but I would expect it to come out fairly quickly after that run. And so just again, I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't know a whole lot about the world. It is kind of analyzing and discussing and everything, but I'm just completely intrigued and in for whatever Field is up to when he is making a feature film. So very much looking forward to whatever it is that Tar has to offer. Number 5 is a movie called Armageddon Time, and like a lot of the other movies on this list, it is here largely because of the director, his past works, and what he seems to be shooting for with this latest feature. Armageddon Time premiered on the festival circuit earlier this year, but this is kind of in the fashion of Cuarón's Roma, of Kenneth Branagh's Belfast, as this is an autobiographical tale from the point of James Gray. It stars Anne Hathaway, Jeremy Strong, and Anthony Hopkins. And yes, like I said, this is a very personal autobiographical tale. It's a coming-of-age story. Not a ton to go on there as far as plot synopsis is concerned, but you have 3 very strong actors. Hopkins coming off an Academy Award win a few years ago. And again, James Gray is a guy who has made films like Two Lovers, The Lost City of Z, a few years ago made Ad Astra. He is very much about kind of the psychological approach to things, to emotions, how we react to events in our lives and how they shape who we are as human beings. And so for him to be going back to his childhood and kind of analyzing or discovering what made him who he is today, it only kind of makes sense. Yes, this is true of a lot of a trend of filmmakers right now, like we mentioned with Cuarón, with Brana, there's another film this fall that's coming out that could be in the same vein as this. But I'm generally a big fan of James Gray's tone, what he invokes, whether he be in the jungles of wherever or in outer space, millions and millions and billions of miles away. There's always a certain reflective, contemplative tone with his work that I really appreciate it, and I'm eager to see how he applies that to his own story, essentially. So number 5, Armageddon Time. It comes out November 11th, I believe, at least in limited release. So very eager to finally get to see that after hearing such good buzz earlier this year. Number 4, let's go ahead and get into number 4 here. It is the latest from writer-director Martin McDonagh. It is called The Banshees of Inisherin, and I feel like I should say, or at least try to say that with some kind of accent, but I'm not going to embarrass myself here by doing that. The Banshees of Inisherin, listen, I'm looking forward to this. Yes, I do love Martin McDonagh. I will obviously talk about In Bruges.
Bruges. Where's that?
It's in Belgium.
This is a reunion for Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. If nothing else, I want to see this movie immediately for that, for the reunion of all three of them, really, for Martin McDonagh, Gleeson, and Farrell. But loved Seven Psychopaths. Really, really enjoyed, despite the controversy, Three Billboards. And this is just another one of Martin McDonagh's movies. Like, I don't know really what else to say about it other than just all the parts here are all you could seemingly want from a movie. So very much looking forward to that. It does, like I said, stars Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. Barry Keoghan and Kerry Condon also are in this cast. And if you've seen the trailer, you know that it follows these two lifelong friends who kind of find themselves at an impasse when one of them abruptly ends their relationship and is kind of just threatening alarming consequences for the other. Brendan Gleeson being the kind of enforcer and Colin Farrell being the lifelong friend who isn't really sure what is happening. The great thing about the trailer is that it doesn't really give away too much. It doesn't really tell us what is happening, what has caused this rift between them. But it is filled with, McDonagh dialogue, just trademark dialogue from him. Just very quick wit, sharp, razor sharp comedy, black comedy. It's just very, very much in the vein of his other films while still feeling different and fresh enough, and just right there with, the capabilities of Farrell and Gleeson to kind of, deliver that kind of dynamic, but also the just the chemistry they have is undeniable, and I can't wait to see that on the big screen again. So this is an easy pick for me. We're getting into the top 3. I'm honestly surprised that this one isn't higher, but yeah, number 4, The Banshees of Inisherin. Can't wait to see it. Okay, top 3, here we go. Number 3, like I was talking about with Armageddon Time a little earlier, and there seeming to be kind of this trend of directors making autobiographical pictures about their childhoods and kind of rediscovering that time in their life. None of which could necessarily be bigger than The Fabelmans, which comes out this Thanksgiving, or 2 weeks early maybe if you're lucky enough to get it then. But yes, this is called The Fabelmans. It is directed by Steven Spielberg. It is based on his childhood. It is co-written by his frequent collaborator Tony Kushner. And it has, again, like many of the films on this list, it has an all-star ensemble with Michelle Williams, Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, Julia Butters from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Judd Hirsch. But yeah, this is a semi-autobiographical story based on Spielberg's own childhood, about him growing up in post-war Arizona from, it supposedly covers from the age of like 7 to 18. I don't know much about Spielberg's early years. I know there's a complicated relationship with his father there that was kind of that has tinged a lot of his features throughout the years. But as far as like details, I don't know a whole lot. So I mean, I don't feel like after last year and West Side Story and seeing the lack of appreciation that it received in theaters, which was really disheartening, to be honest with you. I'm very hopeful that The Fabelmans, while a simpler story, a less theatrical story, obviously, is more successful, and if not necessarily a return to form, because West Side Story was some of the best filmmaking of a great director's already great career, something that may at least connect a little more with general broad audiences, so that that Spielberg zest is in full force. But anytime Spielberg decides to make a movie, who am I to not be excited about that? So obviously excited for The Fabelmans. Can't wait to see it. It's in my top 3. Number 3, Fabelmans. Can't wait this Thanksgiving. Okay, moving on. Almost there. At number 2 is a movie called She Said. This is a film version of the Jodie Cantor and Megan Twohy story. It's based on the book they wrote. They will be played by Zoe Kazan and Carey Mulligan. And yes, Twohy and Cantor were New York Times reporters and are the ones who broke the story that helped launch the Me Too movement and shattered decades of silence around the subject of sexual assault in Hollywood. And the trailer for this plays kind of like a traditional investigative reporting story, which I'm a sucker for anyways. So I'm in on that level no matter what. And while it does feel kind of weird that Hollywood is making a movie about this Hollywood incident, that this thing that was going on within the Hollywood system, I'm still trusting in the people who are working on this movie, and that they are bringing it to the screen to wider audiences for the right reasons. And so I'm very very eager to see what this has to offer. I think it has some real potential to kind of be a, kind of go above and beyond being lumped in with, all the stories that came out after it and around it, and the movement in general, but really highlight the small moments of what made this larger movement occur, why it was so important, why it remains so important, why the awareness of it and the awareness of these types of behaviors and figures is important. This is based on Cantor and Twohy's book. It is they were heavily involved with the screenwriting, I'm sure, between Zoe Kazan and Carey Mulligan, and the caliber of actor they are. There was a lot of care taken to make sure this story was brought to the screen properly. It is directed by a woman named Maria Schrader. I'm not familiar with any of her previous work. It doesn't seem that she's done a lot of work in features, but the trailer is admittedly a little generic, but I think the final execution of this story and just the final film itself is going to, at least has the power to be something really special. And so I'm very, very excited to see how this turns out, whether it be All the President's Men or Spotlight. Just movies in that vein are very, very appealing to me, and just something. The newsroom environment is something. That setting is very much something that just easily entices me. So I'm beyond understanding the importance of this story and knowing why it is being told, and hopefully, understanding that it's being told for the right reasons. I'm just very interested to see how they go about executing this. So She Said comes out this November. Very, very eager to see how this one turns out, and crossing my fingers that it is as good as it has the potential to be. Okay, here we go. Number 1 most anticipated movie for the remainder of 2022. Honestly, there wasn't really much to think about here. This is Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. The first of apparently several sequels for Rian Johnson and his Knives Out universe. It is the return of Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc, solving another murder mystery. I absolutely loved, adored the original Knives Out. It was one of my top 3 favorite films of that year, the year it came out. And just in general, outside of Star Wars, I'm a huge fan of Rian Johnson. Yes, Daniel Craig is returning here, but again, Johnson stacks the cast here. We've talked about incredible ensembles a lot so far in this list, but as Glass Onion tops the list, this cast might also top the list for most impressive. Joining Craig is Madeline Klein, Ed Norton, Katherine Hahn, Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista, Leslie Odom Jr., and Janelle Monáe. You know, this one is being produced by Netflix, distributed by Netflix, and as is the norm with Netflix, we haven't really seen much of this, and I feel like we won't until maybe a few weeks before this premieres. There has been a release date set for late December. It is supposed to go into movie theaters prior to that. Hopefully it will be for a good stretch and give a lot of people the opportunity to see this movie on the big screen. I really hope I am afforded the opportunity to see this on the big screen, because like I said, I'm obviously very excited for this. So yeah, while I don't know a lot, it's still a no-brainer to put this at number 1. I love Knives Out. I'm so happy that Rian Johnson is getting the opportunity to make more of these. And I can't wait to see what Glass Onion is all about. Number 1, Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. That's it for my countdown of my top 10 most anticipated movies for the rest of the year. Let me know what you're looking forward to, whether you agree, whether there's something I missed out on, whether there's something I might not know about. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. We try to produce a new review of the biggest release every week, so hit that notification bell so you know when those go up. But thank you for watching. Thank you to Movie Tavern, and we'll see you next time. Peace.